All right. I apparently have a lot to say today because this is my second one. I did my first one today about Black Lives Matter, and I hope you've checked that one out. Um, this is in relation to a very, very good article I read last night, and I'm going to add it to the ones that I show my students at the beginning of the year. And it's about social media presence and your social and how that you should guard your social media presence. Because I think so many of us think that whether or not we're keyboard warriors or whatever, we think that we're just blind back here, that we have an invisible presence. And as we've seen through everything that's going on back here, rightly so, a lot of people have lost their jobs and have been outed as racist over things that have happened even 10 years ago. And I tell kids, that things that have happened in your high school career have caused people not to get scholarships and have caused people's to not get their entrance into colleges that they wanted, and those internships that they wanted. So be careful with what you put on Facebook and all social media. But let's take a closer look to this. Let's take a closer look at mob mentality, because I'm seeing this a lot also, and it's wonderful link, wonderful article, and I'm going to link it if I can. I don't know if I can link it in YouTube. If I can, I will, but I will show you what it looks like if I can. You may not can see it on my screen. I was the mob until the mob came for me, written by Barrett Wilson, and it is on Quillette, Quillette, if you want to find it. And here's why you can see it right there, I'm sure. Here's why it hit me so much. I'm friends, acquaintances with a lot of people on Facebook. A lot of people I've met through book groups and friends of friends. And so some of these people I have truly met and I truly love. And then some of these people, they're friends of friends and their friends love them. So therefore I should love them. And I read their post about how they were bullied and they were harassed. And then a person does one thing wrong and they put screenshots up and they're like, you know what to do, Facebook, go get them. And I have a problem with that. That's bullying and that's harassing too. And we're right in the middle of this, reliving all the horrors that the African Americans lived through in the early 20th century with the lynchings and the mob, when there was no due process and it was just mob rule. You didn't have to do anything wrong in order to be mobbed. And I'm not necessarily talking about the Karen videos, the videos of the women who are calling for racist things to happen to people when there's nothing wrong. I'm not necessarily talking about that. But I am talking about the situations where we can't prove what you're saying. And I'll give you, for instance, I live in a small southern town. I don't know everyone here, but it's not going to take but about 3 clicks on somebody's name for me to find someone that knows you. I know you, or I know 3 clicks down your name, I know that person. So it's not going to take long. You could get mad at somebody for not filling your sweet tea fast enough at the local diner. And there's absolutely no due process on Facebook. All you have to do is go and put it on Facebook that that person did whatever. And suddenly that person's the pariah of the town. And why did you do it? We had a situation a couple of years ago where, oh my gosh, there was all these posts. Oh my gosh, don't go to Walmart alone. You know, there was a person in the coffee aisle and they were watching me. And something happened, and I don't know, it got blown up into nothing. And the person that they were talking about, he was like, I just was getting some coffee. Like, I was looking at you because I thought I knew you. You know, and before we could have even known about it, he could have been arrested or mugged outside, gang kidnapped and killed. And the mob mentality is there. And I see it every time. You know, watch your babies. Oh, I'm not going to watch them. I'm just going to kill them. Okay. Well, that'll work good for everybody. This article goes in and it talks about that he went from being on the outside of the jokes to telling the jokes, that he would, every time that he called someone racist or sexist, he would get a rush, and that rush would then be sustained by the stars and hearts and thumbs up that he would get, and the people telling him that he was doing the good job and that he was, you know, he was part of the reason that things were getting taken care of. And that he went to making fun of the guy who took the edgy jokes too seriously to becoming that guy. And people were telling him to thank you so much for speaking out, and you're so brave, and we need more men like you, until he was suddenly accused of the same transgressions that he had called out on others. And of course, he was guilty because there's no due process in Facebook or in social media. And there was no way for him to say he was innocent because he was found guilty on social media. And so the mob starts combing through your past. And remember, I just did a video about everybody has flaws. Everybody. Everybody has flaws. And so while you're sitting here condemning someone else for doing something, you better make sure your past is lily white. And I don't mean that to be racist. Okay? You better make sure your past is as clean as it can be before you start condemning someone else on Facebook. Because all of a sudden, you could be in that situation now. Because now everything was looked at, everything he had done, everything he had said, and it had created a toxic environment for years. He was mobbed and shamed, for instance, became front page news. You know, and I think about this every time I see someone post something and says, go get them, and you know, let's knock this person off Facebook. And what kind of, how does that make you feel that you have shamed a 50-year-old grandmother off of Facebook over something that she said that you just maybe took? I'm not talking about racist anything. I'm not talking about that. But even that, did that make you feel good? Did it make you feel good to bully and shame her and then turn around and make a post about how you're bullied and shamed? if we're truly going to get to a point in this country where we want people to be treated as we're treated, then we need to treat them that way. If we really want to get to a point in this country where it's not okay to bully and shame someone, then let's quit doing it. And it's going to be tough, and it's going to be tough on some of the older people, but why don't you start the process? Why don't you quit calling them old racist B words and just let it, just like, I'm not saying hold their hands and drink coffee and tea and sing kumbaya, but you can't call them words and then get somebody mad at somebody else for calling you the words too. And I'm going to be real honest with you. A lot of these attacks that are going on Facebook, they're being done by people. I'm not going to say it's not your fight to fight, because you're fighting the movement for someone, but like, I don't know. I have words on this, and they're not probably the right words to say. I'm just saying you can be an ally, and I want you to be an ally, but choose how you do it wisely. Choose how you fight someone's fight for them, and don't put words in their mouth, I guess is the best way for it. Be careful of the mom mentality. Don't get caught up in it, because you might be in the middle of it.